my name is Tiffany, and today I'm transforming myself into Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil 8. I have actually not been able to play the game yet, so no spoilers, please. Thank you so much. I accidentally picked off too much skin on my fingers. I don't want to talk about it, so I put on a Baby Yoda band-aid. I'm very excited about that. Anyways, that doesn't matter. Let's do the tutorial, shall we? I'm starting things off by going ahead and throwing all of my hair into this wig cap just to get it up and out of the way. I don't have to worry about it messing up my makeup at all. These are my favorite wig caps that have like the exit points on both sides, just because I have long hair and I can scoop it all in there, and it's just like, it just makes it like really easy. For the base for her, I'm gonna be using the Maron Makeup water activated paints. It's just the shade white. I'm going in with a NYX Professional Makeup. It's just like their fluffy foundation brush that they have. Normally for foundation, I actually like to use something that's like a little bit more stiff. But for this guy, it just really softly blends everything out. I'm making sure to go underneath the wig cap, get my ears, my chest. Basically, you want to cover anything that you're gonna see outside of your outfit. That I am avoiding my eyes because next I'm gonna be taking a classic, the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. I'm gonna be going over like just any area of my eyes and covering that, and then I'm going to use my fingers just to blend that in, just because I find that the heat of my fingers really blends it in nicely. I did end up having a little bit of a chunk of the cream product that like flaked down, but life hack, guys, spoolies are a magical thing, and you can just flake that shit away and then blend it out and you're good to go again. Once I'm happy with the coverage that I have going on, I'm gonna go in with the Zoeva fluffy brush. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it, and I'm too lazy to go check. I'm taking the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and just dusting that everywhere. And now it's time for the brows. So first things first, I'm going to fluff out my brows using the ABH angled liner brush that they have. That's what I'm using as my main spoolie because it's an A+ spoolie, but I'm also using the angled liner brush to do the shaping of the brows. But I'm using Maybelline's Blackest Black Gel Liner as like my main brow product. And with that, I'm starting at the tail of my brow and directly underneath. So I'm basically creating as far down as I want my brow to go and then bringing all the product up from there, if that kind of makes sense. I want it to be the darkest at the tail and then kind of like fade in towards the front. Now for this, I did definitely have a bold brow moment. There wasn't like a whole lot of fading from what you can tell in this, but at the front, I did make sure just to add like some nice little like hair strokes, make it not too much. Doing that is gonna make it look a little bit more realistic versus just having like block brows, which are definitely a moment, but I just didn't really think that was the vibe for this look. To save time in this video, I'll link some of my videos down below where I actually talk about how I kind of go about doing my brows, because it's basically the same thing. The biggest thing was for Lady Dimitrescu with her brows. They're actually a little bit more rounded out than I thought they were gonna be upon like first look. I still wanted her to have a full glam moment though, okay? So I did go a little bit more angled than she actually has, but it's fine, everything's fine. So after getting the base of the product with that gel liner, I set everything with a Morphe definer brush and a black eyeshadow, and then I sharpened it up using the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the shade 00. It's just a straight up white concealer. We love to see it. I took it on a very tiny little C-shaped packing brush, and again, I just use that to actually like create those angles that I was wanting to see. To blend the concealer, I actually prefer using my fingers. I want to use a brush because I have found that tends to rub away the body paint I have on underneath whenever I've already set it with a powder, and it just ends up getting a little bit patchy. But if I use my finger, the warmth from my fingers blends everything out really nicely. After sharpening my brows, I went ahead and I took a little bit more of that concealer underneath my eyes, on my nose, all around my mouth, just any of the areas where I want to have like a little bit more coverage. This is also going to act as a highlight. And then I set all of that again. Initially going in with this fluffy brush just to do a light dusting, because the Laura Mercier's translucent setting powder is not actually translucent. So I normally do not like to compact use it. Why am I talking like this? What's happening? What I was trying to say is I don't like to use it whenever I'm using like white body paint, because that's whenever you can really see that it's not actually that translucent. Oh, excuse me, but it's fine if I use it on a fluffy brush. Oh my gosh, I need to stop. Anyways, brows are done. So now that the brows are done, I'm gonna be moving on to the eyeballs. First up, I'm gonna take the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Black Bean, and I'm going to use that to waterline and tightline my eyeballs. For the entire look, I am using the Pure Cosmetics X Raw Beauty Kristi Double Pressed Powdered Pigment Palette. Is that the full name? I think I I think that's the full name. I think I said it in my first take. This palette is absolutely genius and the quality is phenomenal. It's 2 palettes in one, okay? So you have the neutrals on one side, the rainbows on the other. The only shade I'm using on the rainbow side is gonna be the shade Lumos, which is the white shade in this palette. I used the M173 brush and the M536 brush from Morphe to basically highlight but also bring my white base back to life. Now for the actual eyeshadow look, I'm going to be using 3 shades from this palette. We're going to be using Camelot, Told You, and You're Not My Real Dad. This is gonna be like a nice little fall smoky eye that you can also just rock any time of year, but I thought that it would work really nicely with Lady D's beautiful golden eye color. So here we go. First, I'm going to take the Morphe M518, which is a fluffy brush from them, and I'm going to be taking the shade Camelot, which is the beautiful golden mustard shade in the palette, and I'm going to be smoking that out underneath my eye, winging it out, and then going in my crease, but also right above it. I do have pretty hooded eyelids, so because of that, I'm not just taking it in my crease, but I am taking it right above. Because I have those hooded eyelids, if I just kept this just in the crease, then you wouldn't actually see the color at all. Whenever I open my eyes, like all the eyeshadow would disappear, and it'd be like, where'd you go though? I'll always double check my work looking at a mirror that's a little bit farther away. I'll also tilt my head, make sure that it looks good from the different angles and that you can actually still see the eyeshadow. For any like regular glam makeup moments, that's just a little thing that I like to do to make sure that it looks good up close, but it also still looks good from far away. Am I over explaining? Yeah. Now using the Morphe M506 brush, this is my absolute favorite brush to use in my crease. I'm taking the shade Told You, which is like a medium burnt orange tone shade, and I'm running that all in my crease. And again, because I have hooded eyelids right above it, this is just gonna give the look a little bit more depth and make it look really nice and blown out. It's also gonna make your girl's eyeballs look bigger because I'm basically faking where my actual crease is by doing this. So it actually makes it look like I have more of an eye than I actually do. Then because I don't want to lose any of that beautiful golden shade, I'm going back in with Camelot on that fluffy brush, just a little bit of it to smoke out what we just put in the crease. Now on my eyelid, I'm taking the M167 brush, which is basically like a packer brush with the shade You're Not My Real Dad, a beautiful warm tone brown, and I'm packing that all over my lid. I'm even taking the Morphe M432 definer brush, and I'm stamping that along my lash line on the top and bottom. Now I'm going back to my medium warm tone shade and I am blending out the deep brown shade. The name of the game with this look is literally just to constantly be blending everything that you do. I know that seems tedious, but it ends up paying off in the long run, I promise. After blending out the yellow shade just one more time, we're going to now go in with that Zoeva fluffy brush, which I have a name for. That's right, I looked it up. It is the 108 Face Finish brush. Look at me go. I am using that to wipe away any fallout that might have found its way onto my, I was about to say cheekicles, like chesticle, what? Just wipe away your fallout. Now I'm going to take the black from the Morphe X James Charles palette. I'm taking the definer brush and I'm stamping that along my top and bottom lash line, and then I'm taking a Morphe E36, I believe that it was. It's just like a bullet pencil brush, and I'm using that again with black eyeshadow to smoke that out. She doesn't have a winged liner, it is rounded off, so I made sure to stay true to that element, even though I was winging the heck out of the actual eyeshadow. And by now you already know the name of the game is blending, so yes, we're gonna go back to the deep brown, the medium brown, and the golden color, and we are just going to like bring some life back to them, you know, add a little bit more color, and of course blend them out to get this seamless, flawless, smoky eye, if I say so myself. And then you can just kind of like take in the fact that you do be looking good in this eyeshadow though. We are now on the home stretch where you're going to curl our lashes, which, oh my god, what is that? Get out! Now that everyone's scarred. I'm literally sitting here like that just stressed me out so badly. Oh, ugh, ugh. Okay, anyways, put on some mascara, guys. Do that. Do it on the top and bottom lashes. And then we're gonna use the D-Star lashes, which, guys, I had my very first code with the brand. I'm very excited about it. Use the code TLOVE at checkout, save some money. I was using them before we even had like the code or anything like that, so the fact that they were down to work with me is super nifty. But I am using one of my absolute favorite styles, which is the style Jacqueline. They're a little bit shorter on the inner corner and then they wing out. The lash band has varying lengths of hair on it, and because of that, I just feel like these end up looking as natural as fake lashes can look when they're this glam, you know? But it just gave Lady D vibes to me. I don't know what to tell you. Because I had that Band-Aid on, I was struggling to apply these using my fingers. Normally I'll just apply fake lashes with my fingers, but thankfully I had my little lash applicator that I was also able to use to help me out. Yeah, very important part of this process is stabbing your eye out with the mascara. I don't know what to tell you. Have you lived if you don't do that during the makeup look? Probably not. To preserve my false lashes, I don't like to blend them with mascara after the fact, but I felt like I just needed a little extra something with this look, so I went ahead and did that as well. Next, I grabbed my Zoeva 108 face finish brush. That's right, I'm just showing off now. And I wipe off, again, any little flakies that fell down, any sort of fallout, so that way I am prepped and ready to go to do some contour. I really kept it simple for this. I used my IT Cosmetics brush. It's this pointed, fluffy brush. It's my absolute favorite for contour in general because it's easy, okay? It's pointed so you can be a little bit more concentrated with it, but it's fluffy so everything blends out really flawlessly. I just used the black eyeshadow from the James Charles and Morphe palette. For this, I barely dipped the brush into the black shadow. It's better to go light and then build it up like you see me doing here in the very, very hollows of my cheeks. I kept that very angled and right near my ear because that's where a natural shadow would be the deepest if you were looking at me straight on. For blush, I'm using ColourPop's Between the Sheets, and I'm using the exact same brush I use for contour. I just like wipe it off in between basically. Kept that pretty simple, really just on the apples of my cheeks. And then to bring some light back to the look, I'm going back into the white shade from Christie's palette using the Morphe M536, and I'm using that to bring to life where the natural highlights would be. Also to kind of clean up my contour underneath where it's like a little bit messy and to help it look a little bit more natural. Final touch for the look is of course going to be Zoe's beautiful red lips. For this, I am using Beauty Bakery's Lip Whip in the shade Cranberry Stiletto. It is a gorgeous deep red. I did consider lining my lips with like a deep brown just to like really take this to the next level, but that felt like it was gonna pull this look too glam, if that makes sense. Like, yes, I glammed up the look a bit, but I really tried to keep everything true to how she looks in the game. And I felt like if I did too much shading on the lips, she would just be too cool for school. So I decided just to keep it classic and to keep it simple for you guys. Maybe we can do a nice little shading lip moment in an upcoming tutorial, but I decided just to keep it nice and classic, just like Lady Dimitrescu. I keep wanting to say Dimitrescu. It's not Dimitrescu, it's Dimitrescu. Lady Dimitrescu. I think this is Manny's debut. Everyone meet Manny. He's my mannequin. He holds my wigs. With the makeup done, it is time to get into the costume to really pull this all together. Listen, the outfit is like an ode to her, more or less a closet cosplay. There's a couple of things that I had grabbed to kind of finish pulling it together. You know, we had like the key elements with like the fake pearls. I'm not saying her pearls were fake. Her pearls, I'm sure, are very, very real. Lady D would never settle for this. But back to what's important, okay? It's not about what you don't have, but it's about what you do have, and make the most of it. If you really want to cosplay a character, do not let this expectation of perfection stop you from doing it. That is what I did for the longest time. I didn't start playing around with cosplaying until December of 2020, and now I'm almost a year into it, and I'm so grateful that I started doing it. I just want to encourage you that if this is something that you've wanted to do, I mean, at the very least, Halloween, it's a great time to start breaking into it, because then if you get anxious or nervous, you can just be like, it's a Halloween costume. But we all know the truth. We know you're a cosplayer, Red Hot. Why do I sound like Gail from Bob's Burgers, Linda's sister? Why do I sound like Gail? Anyways, all that to say, guys, if you want to cosplay, if you want to dress up, go for it. Oh, also, this is an important time to mention the boob contour. I know, listen, if you want to know more on how to do that, this video is going to be way too long if I ended up including all of that. So if you want a separate video on how you could do some nice little shading moments with the titties, let your girl know. We can definitely make that happen. Speaking of things not being perfect, I know that the flower and like her ear tuck is supposed to be on the opposite side, but I'm doing it on the other side because of how the wig was laying. It just naturally looked good with me having it on the other side. So I did that, don't yell at me. For things to be more in sync, I kept the flower on the same side, which is the wrong side, but it looked better because then it was on the same wrong side as the ear tuck with the hair. Does that make sense? Probably not. But here we are, guys. That is the finished look. I hope this was helpful. I know it was a lot of information in a pretty compact form, but let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. For the entire month of October, I'm posting 2 videos a week. So if you're looking for a place to find some Halloween tutorials, maybe this will be a good spot for you. Maybe you should subscribe. Maybe you should look at the links in the bio. Maybe you should like the video. I don't know, just a thought. If you do end up dressing up as Lady Dimitrescu this year and you use this video as a reference, please make sure that you tag me so that way I can see all of your creations. It's my favorite time of year, and this is my very first time trying to do Halloween videos. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you guys so much for watching. Your support means more to me than you will ever know. And I will see you hopefully in the next video. Bye guys, and happy Halloween.